I have reviewed so many Android tablets, from the great all the way down to the craptastic. And today, in this video, with the 17-minute and 43-second mark, I am gonna tell you what the best Android tablet available is. Okay, it's the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8.
Oh man, I ruined the intro again.
Hello, my name is Brad. I review tech for creative professionals, and that means all of the tablets that I'm reviewing specifically come with tabs. If you can draw on it, I want to test it. And over the years, I have had the opportunity to test a lot of Android tablets, and many of the cheapest ones are really bad, and some of the most expensive ones are really great pieces of hardware, but don't necessarily have really good pen support. But what's amazing to me is just how in the last 3, maybe 4 years, Android tablets have come so far. If we go back to 2019, 2018, we had Google saying, we're not going to make Android tablets anymore. We had other major tablet manufacturers dropping out of the market because there was just no money to be made there. People weren't really interested in Android tablets. At the time, we were dealing with hardware, which was, not too bad, but we had software, which was, well, it was kind of bad. But over the last several years, software support has increased dramatically, especially when we're talking about software support for creatives and illustrators. There's just so much more out there with apps like Clip Studio Paint and Krita and High Paint, really professional level software coming to Android. And this year on the hardware side has been especially crazy with really good releases. Seems like every other week I'm churning out another really good Android tablet review. And you all have noticed, because last fall I was getting comments like this that I was spending way too much time talking about iPads. And now I'm getting comments like this telling me I'm spending way too much time talking about Android tablets. I don't make the release schedule, people, but dang, I like it. Quick note, throughout this video, I'm going to be showing a lot of illustrations, and if you're thinking, wow, it looks like a lot of fun to draw on these tablets, you would be right. And you might be thinking, I don't have any drawing talent. That's where I come in. I actually have a lot of online courses designed for beginners. Because when I was teaching myself how to draw, I was following a lot of YouTube tutorials and online courses, and what I discovered was that a lot of them were set at like this college level. They were amazing courses, but I was not ready for that. These are designed for the absolute beginner to walk in and learn how to sketch and draw over the course of 60 days, where every day I'm giving you a different lesson. I also have a second course, which is about Introduction to Digital Art, where we take those sketches and we say, how do you paint them? How do you color them? What are some different techniques and brushes that we can use? We go over a lot of those things. There's some discounts down below in the description, and if you want to learn more, check out those links. Anyway, back to the topic. All right, so let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 and why I like it better than everything else out there. Samsung's release schedule with tablets is a little interesting because it's not consistent. Sometimes they release something a year after the last one. Sometimes they wait a year and a half. I would not be surprised if we saw like an S9 tablet come out this fall or late summer. I also wouldn't be surprised if they waited to the winter because the S8 is still really good. The main thing that I focus in on when I'm looking at these tablets is the S Pen. Now, the S Pen comes packed in with Samsung devices, and that is a huge competitive advantage. What really kicked off the stylus revolution with tablets was the Apple Pencil. I'm sorry, I have to talk about iPads here. It was definitely not the first. There was some stuff out there. Samsung had a pen before Apple did. But the Apple Pencil definitely created a lot of demand and expectation that this was a tool that you could use really well on a tablet. And many tablet makers decided to just take whatever they could find, whatever technology was lying about, and throw it in a box so that they could pull the bullet point on the back and say, yes, we have a stylus just like Apple does. And most of those styluses just aren't very good. Now, if you're taking notes or just want to use the tablet to surf around, poke around your tablet, they're just fine. But if you're an illustrator and you really care about line quality and you really care about accuracy, two things you absolutely need if you're going to create really good art on one of these things, those pens are kind of lacking. Whereas the Samsung S Pen is powered by Wacom's technology. If you're not familiar with the tech market, Wacom makes some of the best styluses around. They also make some of the most expensive drawing tablets around. And to my knowledge, Samsung is the only company that's using Wacom's technology in their Android tablets. And I wouldn't be surprised to find out if Wacom's licensing rates are a lot higher and Samsung's willing to pay them. But this is all to say that the S Pen is absolutely phenomenal for drawing. It doesn't always have the best palm rejection, but another thing that we've seen pop up recently is a lot of the drawing apps out there kind of understand this and realize it and have added their own kind of palm rejection into the apps where you can go into the settings, toggle that on, and then get that fantastic experience that you're looking for. The other thing that sets these apart are the screens. What I ended up reviewing last year was the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, which is the giant 15-incher that they released. And even when I picked up the S7 the year before, the thing that really just knocks you out as soon as you toggle that thing on for the first time are these amazingly vibrant colors that you get from that OLED display. Some of these LCD displays that you're going to find out there are really, really good. And they do look really, really good. But these OLED displays, these panels that Samsung is putting on their Android tablets are just, they're amazing. From just a color popping standpoint, maybe even better than Apple's. In their higher end tablets, they make sure that these screens are running at 120 hertz. Now this is fantastic for animations because they just look smoother, scrolling looks smoother and that kind of thing. But when we're talking about drawing an illustration, that also reduces the amount of pen lag you get. So there's less trailing behind your pen when you're drawing a line. Another big plus when you're trying to get some illustration done. The other reason I focus on the S8 line in particular is because there's so much variety. Some of the other tablets that I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes are really nice, but they only come in one size. Here you can get your standard 10.5, 11-inch. You can get a 13-inch. You can get a 15-inch. If you've never held a 15-inch tablet in your hand, to steal a word from Apple, it's kind of magical. It's amazing to have that much screen real estate. If you're viewing Instagram or Twitter on it, it doesn't look good because the margins are all blown out, but if you're drawing, having that much space is fantastic. And over the years, Samsung seems to really understand that one of Android's weaknesses was that software library. So they actually went out and partnered with apps and helped finance them to bring them to the Android platform. That brought exclusivity for apps like Clip Studio Paint for a few years, maybe only 1 year, and now Clip Studio Paint is available to anybody with an Android tablet. Samsung also takes that S Pen and spreads it out across their line. That S Pen works on a lot of their higher end flagship phones. That S Pen works on lower end tablets. So if you're looking to save money, you've got the Tab S6 Lite. You have the Tab S7 FE. You have ways to save money, but still get that amazing pen experience. But I do want to go over what else is out there because any kind of electronic is not a one size fits all. For me, the Tab S8 I think is the best, but for you, you may find value elsewhere. One place where a lot of people who follow and comment on this channel have found a lot of value lately is in Xiaomi's Pad 6. I just reviewed this recently and I was really impressed. It is not available here where I live, here in the US. So I had to go out and pick it up off another site and have it shipped in from China and kind of fiddle with the settings to get everything kind of working the way I wanted to get the Google Play Store installed so I could get my apps and actually read the language. But I only paid $300 for this thing. Now, a $300 Android tablet isn't that unusual, but the level of quality that you're getting in this Android tablet for that price is very unusual. That's why it kind of sits here on my list. What are the trade-offs? You're not getting an OLED screen, you're getting an LCD screen, but it's a very nice looking LCD screen, a very good resolution. You're also getting 144 hertz refresh rate. That's actually higher than 120 hertz you get on the Samsung tablets. Is that a big deal? Personally, I can't tell, but to some people, they think that's cool. Now, one thing to note is they do not pack the pen in, so you do have to pay extra. I paid $100 for the pen, which seems kind of expensive. That's like an Apple level price. Some of the people commented on that review and said in their countries that pen is significantly cheaper, which makes a lot of sense. How does the pen stack up against Samsung? It's not as good. If you're looking for wobble, you can definitely find it. I also found that there wasn't much lag on this pen. That is a big plus. I found that the accuracy was really good on this pen. So if I stop drawing a line and I go back to continue drawing it, I can match it up perfectly. That's a big deal for me. The pressure sensitivity was good. So overall, it was a really good pen. Not as good as what you're going to find on those Samsung devices, but definitely passable for most illustrators. Another tablet that I reviewed recently is Google's new Pixel Tab. Now, this is a little bit different of a product. And the main reason is Google is not advertising this as something you could draw on, and none of their promotional material do they say, hey, this comes with a pen, or you can even use a pen with it, but you can use a pen with it. These things are compatible with USI 2.0 styli. Is it styluses or styli? Probably definitely styluses. But what makes this unique is it's designed to be a tablet and a home hub at the same time. So it usually starts around $500. It has this like speaker base that you can connect the tablet to, and it's pretty slick. So if you're playing music on one, you connect it to the base, the speaker takes over. There's some quirks that I ran into. Some people told me how to work around those quirks, and so it seems like a pretty good product if you're willing to fiddle around with it a little bit. But that USI stylus, I didn't really like it. I talked about accuracy a minute ago with the Xiaomi stylus and how it has really good accuracy. This didn't. It was off by a pixel or two. I could get those lines to match up, but I had to work a little harder for that. The USI 1.0 styluses, the old ones, were really wavy when you were drawing with them. That made them kind of worthless for illustrators. The USI 2.0 styluses fixes that. Kinda. What they've done is they've applied some smoothing to the stylus in general, so they get rid of a ton of that wave. The downside of that is when you add that smoothing or that streamlining to any pen, what you're doing is you're reducing the accuracy and you're adding a ton to the lag. And that drove me nuts. The more I used this and the more I drew on it, the more I disliked it. So from that regard, if you're looking for something that you can illustrate on, the Pixel tab is probably not the way to go. Another tablet that I really liked that I've reviewed this spring was the ONEPLUS tab. I was never really a fan of like that hunter green color, but when I saw it as like this brushed aluminum thing that they're doing here, I thought, okay, I can get into this. This also has specs that can rival that Xiaomi tablet. However, this also costs a little bit more than that Xiaomi tablet. So you're kind of getting the same thing, but you're getting it at a higher price. The plus side is there is a native English version, so there's going to be less fiddling if you're setting it up. The downside is, yes, this pen costs extra, and this is the same type of pen that you see on that Google Pixel. So yes, that means they've applied their own smoothing to it, which means you get a ton of lag, and it's also hard to get really accurate when you have that kind of thing. So unfortunately, you know, I wasn't really a big fan of drawing on this one either. Those are the three that I think are worth mentioning. I've used some others, but some of those are really cheap and those pens are really bad, so I'm not really gonna bother going through those now. But right now is a great time to be an Android tablet enthusiast. And I think that's all I have to say about this. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.